We have long had a robust program of joint military education and training between our two countries, and as we move forward in today's complex security environment, we are also deepening that relationship. As I stand before you today, a team of U.S. training specialists is visiting Czech units preparing to deploy to Afghanistan to see how we can better prepare both our forces for joint operations. We are working to enhance our state partnership programs, in which the National Guards of the U.S. states of Texas and Nebraska partner with the Czech military to enhance security capacities. Despite its relative size, the Czech government is the third largest recipient of United States IMET training funds in EUCOM, and the sixth largest recipient in EUCOM of U.S. FMF, foreign military funding. And I could go on, there is a very long list. Cooperation like this helps ensure that both of our countries are prepared to face the threat not only of transnational terrorism, but all of the threats confronting our two nations. Closely linked to transnational terrorism is the threat of nuclear proliferation. While stockpiles of nuclear weapons and the specter of nuclear material in the hands of terrorists are global risks, they are particularly acute in this part of the world. Here, too, the Czech Republic has become a focus of efforts to make the world a safer place. In April 2009, not far from where we now sit, President Obama laid out his vision for a world free of nuclear weapons and of the threat of proliferation. And last year, again, very close to here, Presidents Obama and Medvedev signed a New START agreement that represents one step towards that vision. This coming April, the MFA is convening a conference on the subject of the Prague Agenda to take stock of progress and map out the way forward. We warmly welcome this Czech initiative, and we look forward to robust participation from the United States. Of course, the most pressing non-proliferation issue the international community will face over the next year is Iran. Here, once again, the Czech Republic has been steadfast in its support of international efforts to persuade Iran, keep your commitments. We want to keep working closely with you in international fora such as the UN and the IAEA as we move forward. And we will seek out not just your support, but also your advice and your counsel as we work with you and our other allies on this complex issue. Many people forget that security is the second word in the term energy security. What does energy security mean? Well, I can suggest to you what energy insecurity would mean. It would mean that Czech national independence is eroded. It would mean Czech political will is affected by concerns that homes will go dark and cold when somebody in another country withholds delivery of precious commodities. American efforts to support Czech and European energy security are part of our 21st century commitment to work with you to preserve your independence and your freedom. We know this energy security has been a priority, and we pledge to continue to work with you on this priority. Our shared security interests also demand that we collaborate to fully realize a Europe that is whole, that is free, and that is at peace. We want to continue our strong partnership in the Western Balkans, and we greatly appreciate your efforts within the EU in this area. You have exercised strong regional leadership through the V4 and the Eastern Partnership, and we look forward to continued Czech engagement as we move closer to our shared European vision. In these areas, and in many others, our two nations are already doing good work. I am excited to work with you to go from good to great by finding specific strategic and defense projects we can jointly develop, and by focusing on signature, high-priority ones that can serve as new links anchored on Czech soil, representing the unbreakable friendship between our nations. Economic and commercial cooperation is the second major area in which Czech and U.S. interests are closely aligned, and in which we will both benefit if we take the relationship from good to great. We share a strong support for free markets, open trade flows, and lowered barriers to trade and investment. During your 2009 EU presidency, you made this one of your 3 priorities, and we applaud you for your continued efforts to break down barriers to transatlantic and global trade. The freedom that binds our nations together rests on the prosperity that can only be delivered by free markets. We also share a pragmatic, science-based approach to agricultural biotechnology, a technology which is creating more abundant and drought-resistant foods, reducing erosion, reducing the needs for pesticides, and helping the developing world to feed itself. But I believe our countries and our companies can do more to foster innovation and job growth. Increased trade and investment expand the economic pie by creating jobs and increasing prosperity. In December, our 2 nations launched a bilateral economic and commercial dialogue, which is identifying concrete actions we can take to further expand our already robust relationship. Bilaterally, since 1993, the U.S. has been the Czech Republic's 5th largest source of foreign direct investment, creating thousands of Czech jobs and helping both of our economies to expand. U.S. companies have been active and present in sharing our know-how and in transforming the Czech economy from its state-dictated form in 1989 to the vibrant business environment we find here today. Look around, and signs of U.S. commerce are everywhere. Czech entrepreneurs have also left a major mark on the United States. I'll take only one small example. Had Ray Kroc's parents not immigrated to Chicago in the late 1800s, McDonald's would not today be one of the world's most recognizable brands. And more Czechs are starting to invest in the U.S., and we welcome this new investment. Bilateral trade between our 2 countries remains somewhat modest, which is certainly understandable given the geographic distance between our 2 nations. But while we may be far apart on a map, we are very close together, both in spirit and in values. And I will work through our economic and commercial dialogue and through other means to find ways to expand our bilateral trade. Our countries also share an interest in placing ourselves on the cutting edge of research and development to ensure we participate fully in the 21st century knowledge-based economy. We have the scientists and researchers to get us there. So we must find synergies between the strong research and development base in the U.S. and the engineering and science bastions in the Czech Republic. Last year, the United States opened an Office of Naval Research in Prague. It is supporting a host of cutting-edge R&D programs across the Czech Republic. Going forward, we will continue seeking opportunities to bring our universities and our research institutes closer together. The civil nuclear field is one where our governments and private sectors can also work together. Like the Czech Republic, the United States supports the expansion of safe, clean, affordable, CO2 emission-free nuclear energy. In this year's State of the Union address, President Obama called for construction of a new generation of safe, clean nuclear power plants. We will look for ways we can cooperate on nuclear energy, whether at the Temelín and Dukovany sites or on building the reactors of the future. Czech's tender to build new nuclear reactors creates an opportunity to bring our two economies closer together, and I welcome the commitment of Czech and the Czech government to ensure that this is a fair, transparent, and merit-based process. A partnership would, I believe, also promote energy security and make the Czech Republic a center of Westinghouse's European supply chain for the 21st century, positioning our two nations together at the forefront of this dynamic growth sector of the energy industry. But the possibilities for cooperation are much broader than just that tender. In December, we signed a joint declaration on cooperation in the civil nuclear field, which included a commitment to increase bilateral cooperation on nuclear research and development. Then our experts met in Washington to explore specific areas in which they can work together. Here again, I am committed to following up on this with joint, concrete projects, and I have already begun meeting with and talking to a broad array of civil nuclear stakeholders in the Czech Republic about just that. Our need to pursue innovation does not, of course, stop in the field of nuclear science. From biotechnology to transportation infrastructure, from microelectronics to information technology, our private firms can do more, working together today to solve the technology problems of tomorrow. By increasing our commercial cooperation, we can develop and intensify our economic, industrial, technical, and technological cooperation on the basis of reciprocity and mutual benefit. So you see, although I am an ethicist and an anti-corruption crusader by training, I do not neglect business matters.